Yeah, it's impossible to have harmony because there's going to be something that's not quite in alignment. Yeah. It's like you ever try to to drill in a screw, but it's not quite like the right angle, and it gets out of whack. Yeah. And it's frustrating. Then if you try to fix it, it just gets frustrating. Our thoughts and actions can be like this. Yeah, Alan.
I think that when you don't do one of those, I feel like in essence you lie about everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's wrong with lying about everything?
When you lie, it's like
Pessimism.
What?
The pessimism.
Yeah.
Could lead to pessimism.
Yeah. So how does lying lead to pessimism? You're right, it does. You guys ever wear a mask to a costume party like that? How come you're not still wearing it? What happens if you wear it for 6 hours?
Sweaty.
Yeah, it gets all sweaty and gross. 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, 24 hours. Eventually the masks get uncomfortable. And that's a literal thing, like a literal, if you put on those like rubber masks and you're like, oh look, I'm so-and-so. And it's funny to put on and take it off over at the Spirit of Halloween store. But try wearing it for a full day. Try sleeping in it. Try wearing it for 2 days, 3 days. It gets all sweaty and gross, you get tired of it. It creates a discomfort on you physically. But when you're wearing a figurative mask and you're lying about yourself, you're going to create not a physical discomfort, but certainly an emotional discomfort, a psychological discomfort, a spiritual discomfort. And you're not going to, and you're going to, it's kind of like just like if you keep that mask on, you're physically uncomfortable, you're going to become irritable, and you're going to treat people accordingly, treat them badly. The same is true when you have that psychological discomfort. You're going to treat people badly. And of course, the first person you treat badly is yourself. And if you can't treat yourself well, it's difficult to treat other people well. It's very difficult. And now there are people who treat other people better than themselves, but I don't know that they treat them well, they just treat them better than themselves. Because the primary unit in any good deed that you want to do is the self. You can't help others until you first help yourself. And it isn't a selfish thing to help yourself. If you've got $100 and somebody asks you for the $100, you could give it to them, and that would be that. But if you had that $100 and you're thinking, but I got this I have this idea that there's this company that I can invest in, and I think I can turn that $100 into 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever. Well, now you can help lots of people. Now you can help lots of people. I was just telling that I don't think I've seen you guys since then. Day before yesterday, I was over at Target, and I was on the phone with a friend of mine. I got there I went after my gym, so it was like 9:30 or so. And I park, talking to my friend, and then this gentleman, he is a gentleman in fact, he walks towards me, and he says, sorry, I apologize, sir, a word, please. And I said, sure. I said to my friend, hold on. And this guy tells me that, I'm sorry to bother you this evening. I'm trying to make a sandwich, and I don't have any marmalade. I wanted to ask you, if you're going into the store, would you be willing to get me a jar of marmalade? How do you answer that except for yes? So I said, absolutely. Yes, I got you. Especially when the man is talking like this. And he's wearing a very smart sport coat with a scarf and a pair of shorts. It's okay, maybe he's an artist. Maybe he's just eccentric. I don't know. I could be talking to the next pope here for all I know.
Business casual.
Yeah, business casual, exactly. Business up top, casual down below.
Just like a mullet, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's a human mullet as he's walking around. So I go in and my friend asks me, well, are you wearing a red shirt or something? I said, no, why? And she thought that there was somebody inside the store asking me where they kept the marmalade. And I said, no, there's a guy outside. And she's like, really? And she's trying to piece this together. So I said, but since you're on the phone, I get a bad signal inside the Target. Can you look up what marmalade is? Now I know marmalade is jelly, but there's like jelly, there's fruit spread, there's preserves, there's all kinds of different names for these, and they all have small differences. And so I figure if this gentleman who speaks so well has sent me on a task to get him some marmalade. I want to make sure I bring back the proper thing. Because I've accepted, if I'm going to do the task, I'm going to do it well. So she looks up and she explains that oh, I'm sorry, very quickly. When he asked me for the marmalade, I asked him what flavor. And he says, oh, well, like he didn't think he would get this far. And he said, apricot. Apricot would be the preferred flavor. I said, absolutely, let me see what they've got. I said, I'll see what they've got. So I'm asking my friend to look it up, and she explains that marmalade is citrus-based. So that would be like orange marmalade or tangerine marmalade. And I thought, okay, so that's the distinguishing characteristic of marmalade. That's what separates it from jelly. So I go in, there is no marmalade in this place. They've got grape and strawberry. And they got jelly, they have fruit spread, they've got preserves, but there's no marmalade. No, and by the way, nothing apricot. I even went and checked to see if they had apricots. No apricots in the store either. So I said, all right, so what's the closest to marmalade? So we're trying to figure out, and she says, I think it's the preserves. Okay, now looking at it, which preserves do I get him? Well, he's a gentleman. Well, of course, I gotta pick the most expensive one because he's a gentleman. He probably has refined tastes. So I'm looking at it, it's like $6.59. I go, all right, hey, he's a gentleman. All right, he's wearing a sport coat, I told you, right? And a scarf? Okay. Yeah, well,
Don't worry about that.
yeah, I'm not worried about the shorts. I'm looking the man in the eyes. So I,
Look
so
at
I
the guys, huh?
yeah, right. So I go out, so I take it outside, and I'm like, where did it go? Did I see a ghost? And I just hear, oh, sir. He's like making his way across the parking lot towards me. For some reason, I was apologetic. I said, I'm sorry, they didn't have marmalade, but I got the best I could. They have strawberry preserves, and he says, oh yes, that would be the equivalent. Thank you, sir. He comes back and he shakes my hand. Firm handshake on this man. And I'm walking, and I'm going in my car, and my friend asks me, did I just hear all that? I said, yeah. He says, Stephen, I don't get your life. As I go to drive away, what is this guy doing? He is in fact standing next to a cart making a sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I almost wanted to ask him if I could have some sandwich, but I don't want to presume so much for myself. I deserve the sandwich. I'm telling you, man, that's the best $6.59 I've ever spent. I've gotten to tell that story now 3 times.
It's worth
But
nothing.
yeah, exactly, it's worth 9. But that's pretty cool that I look at it and I say, wow, I have the ability to buy somebody a jar of preserves. And then that gives me the ability to come in here and tell a story. And what that story means, I don't know. I may know in a couple of years. It may make more sense to me. But my point is just that if you can't help yourself, then you can't help others. And so if you have a desire to help others, first things first, you have to help yourself. You have to be well. You have to be secure. And doesn't, financially sure, but whatever the thing is that you can provide for people, you need to be strong in that area. If what you want to do is be able to provide emotional support for people, then you need to be emotionally strong because you need to be able to tell them or help them, be there for them, endure the pain with them, and then of course help them through it. If you want to buy jars of strawberry preserves for men with scarves, sport coats, and shorts, you've got to have $6.59 in the first place. And what that means is not giving away your last $6.59 because then you can't help yourself after that. So you have an obligation just in your life to build yourself up. Not even just for yourself, but for other people as well. And I imagine everybody in here loves someone. I hope you at least love yourself, but I shouldn't say at least because that isn't an easy love to have. It is a hard thing to do, but just remember to love yourself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. Well, once you love yourself and you can build yourself up and put yourself in a position where you can now help other people who you love, such that helping them is not going to be a chore. It's not going to be a hardship. Because when it creates hardships, it creates a burden on you, which makes you less capable of helping others. And so, get these things in alignment. And then you can, if you do desire to help others, you have the ability to. But certainly you'll have the ability to help yourself. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticism, critiques? Yeah.
What shoes was that distinguished gentleman wearing?
I'm glad you asked. He's wearing sneakers and sport socks that came up to about here.
He wasn't that down.
He wasn't down, but I think his speech patterns gave that away. But have you ever like talked to a person and you're just like, where did this person come from?
Yes.
I have never seen this person before in my life. I go to that Target almost every day, like I said. I've never seen him before. There's another guy out there, the homeless guy. He's out there consistently. He's this tall guy and he's very serious. He has some beard on, and he'll ask me, sir, I apologize for interrupting you. Do you have any change you could spare? And I usually say, I'll get you on the way out, or if I'm in a hurry. And I come out and I'll give him some money. I never give like change. Because can you imagine like looking that way and going into places and paying with change and how people look at you? I'm sure you've seen this before. No, I always give him a bill, like a 10 or 20, something. And when you hand a man like that $20, he looks at it, he looks at me like, you do this for me? Thank you, sir. Why? Because it's a great deal of dignity for that guy who doesn't have any dignity otherwise. To be able to walk in and pay with a 20 and actually buy something and get some money back. How much is that $20 worth? Well, I know the price of the $20, but do you know the value of that $20? It's incredible.